Hi everybody, my name is Chef Stanley Townsend. We're here today with our program Cook It Simple. We're down in the beautiful kitchens at Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, part of the Hokinson Culinary Center. And today we're going to cook up some meals and we're going to celebrate the culture, the rich culture, multiculture of Edmonton. I'm going to make a few dishes. I'm going to make some Thai food. I'm going to make some Cajun food. I'm going to make all kinds of different food today. So we're going to celebrate this, and we're going to start out with a hot and spicy dish that originated in Louisiana, and that dish is called jambalaya. Jambalaya, what a famous dish. Hank Williams wrote a song about jambalaya, the crawfish pie, the filet gumbo. But what is it? It is a dish that is probably an example of Cajun cooking, and we got a lot of affiliation to Cajun because Cajun is really a colloquialism of Acadian, the Acadian settlers who left Nova Scotia to settle in Louisiana. So first of all, let's get started with our beautiful Cajun cooking. Of course, we're going to start out with what's called the trilogy in Cajun cooking, the trilogy being onions, as they pronounce it, green peppers, and celery. We're going to saute that all up. Bring those flavors and those delicious smells out. What the heck? Put a little garlic in there for a little additional flavoring. Cooking up, smelling pretty good. And of course, Cajun cooking, hot and spicy. We're going to put in some Cajun seasoning. You can either buy the Cajun seasoning, you can make your own. A little bit of oregano, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of chilies, cayenne pepper, something nice and hot. Gonna kind of add a little oregano to the little extra oregano. And of course a few chili flakes. Bring those flavors out there. Heat it. Let's add a little pepper to it. And just a small amount of salt and pepper. We've got those all sauteing up on the side. Let's introduce the sausage. We've got some chorizo sausage. You can use any type of sausage you want. Garlic sausage, ham sausage, generally whatever is on sale. I use a portion of the sausage about this long, if I can open it up. This is actually a chorizo sausage, but you could even take Spam and dice that up and fry it up pretty good to get the flavors going. So we're going to fry up that chorizo, and we're going to put in a little chicken. We're going to cook all that up. Now, same thing. Vegetarians say, well, I don't like all that. Well, you can make this the same dish and substitute black beans for the meat, put in chunks of tofu, or you can just completely cook the dish meatless. So we're sauteing that up, getting quite a bit of fat out of that sausage. Like I said, chorizo sausage, ham sausage, garlic sausage. I said you could use Spam for that, but Spam is about $3 a can. And really a piece of garlic sausage like this or ham sausage like this would cost you about the same amount. So let's get that all sauteed up together. Smell that chicken cooking, smell that sausage cooking. And of course we've got to add our tomato product. So we got quite a bit of tomato product there. Jambalaya. Jambalaya is actually a combination of two cooking styles found in Louisiana. The word jamba or jabon refers to ham. And the ya is the African word for rice. So literally together, jabon, jaba, ella, ya. So it's basically ham with rice. Jambalaya. Such a beautiful dish, so easy to make. That's taken me about 5 minutes. All I have to do is let it simmer. So we'll let it simmer for a minute and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've allowed the jambalaya, the main part of the jambalaya, to cook down. The sausage, the chicken, the onions, the peppers, the celery, all cooking down. A little garlic, put a little Cajun spice in there. I tasted it. I think I'm going to put a little more in there. We're going to put some of this Louisiana red magic in there to make it really hot and spicy. And the last thing we've got to do is we've got to add the rice. Now you may ask me, why don't I cook the rice with it? Really, the acid in the tomatoes isn't all that compatible with cooking the rice. So usually if you try to cook the rice and the jambalaya together, the rice tends to be a little bony. So we like to cook it a little, the rice on the side, cook it in your rice cooker, and we just hurl that all up there. And of course the idea is we want that rice, we want it to cook long enough that the rice will soak up and absorb all of those beautiful flavors of the tomato, the onion. So when I cook food, I like the food to be a symphony of the flavors. I don't like one harsh flavor, like I don't want the garlic to be predominant. I want everything to add a little bit to the orchestra of the food. So that means, you know, the pepper is going to put a little sweetness, a little crunch, the celery a little crunch, the onions, of course, lots of flavor, garlic, of course, it's a beautiful flavor. So that trilogy, the onions, the celery, the garlic, and the green peppers combined with tomatoes, classic dish. In Spain, if you went, you'd have a very similar dish to this. It would be called paella. It contains much the same ingredients. If you wanted to kick this dish up and make it a really, really elegant dish, you throw in a few shrimp. Now, I know shrimp are expensive, but if you happen to be in the supermarket and you see one of those little shrimp rings on sale for $4 or something like that, you could always throw in a few shrimp. So there it is. What we like to do to add a little more color, and one of my favorite ingredients in food, peas. There's always got peas in the cooler there. The peas, very excellent, give a little bit of lots of color to it, lots of flavor to it. We'll finish cooking that up. I'm going to have a final taste, see if it meets the expectations. Taste a little sauce. Ooh, that's good. I guarantee you're going to love that. So I think I'm going to heat it up a little bit more. So I'm going to put a little more Cajun spice in it. I really like this dish to be hot and spicy. You want to add a little extra richness to it. Right at the end, an old cook's trick is just take a knob of margarine or put a little olive oil on it. Add a little extra fat to it to give it some richness. So let's dish that up. Jambalaya. So famous. Hank Williams wrote the song. I'm not going to sing it. I did want to be a singer. I wanted to be a country and western singer, but my mother told me to get into something I wouldn't starve to death at. So here I am in the 8 kitchens cooking up a storm. And that's one of our beautiful dishes. We have jambalaya. We're going to probably put a little chopped parsley on that, a little chopped onions, just for a little bit of extra color. Why not? And of course, you're going to serve that. It's a really nice dish. You can make it vegetarian. You could make it with chicken and sausage. You can make it with pork and sausage. You could make it with black beans. You can put a little tofu in there. Whatever. Just put a little chopped parsley on top of that. And you're going to eat that. And as they say in Louisiana, I guarantee you're going to like that. There you go. Chaka chaka, chang chang. All right, we are again celebrating the multicultural community of Edmonton. If you've ever been down to Heritage Days, you know we have all kinds of different cultures here, and they really make Edmonton a very, very unique ethnic fabric or mosaic. All of our different types of foods tend to complement it. We get different types of restaurants, Vietnamese restaurants, Chinese restaurants, Italian restaurants, Thai restaurants. So we're going to make some Thai food today. So first of all, I'm going to start making a sauce. So we're going to make a dish called Pad Thai. So I'm going to use some exotic ingredients. First of all, I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar here. I get that into my bowl. Little brown sugar. We're going to take a little ingredient called fish sauce. We're going to take a little chili sauce, of course, sambal olik, whatever your favorite chili sauce is, hot and spicy, you're going to put that in there. Now we have an ingredient here that's going to, usually Asian food captures all of the different flavors, sweet, sour, hot, spicy, salty. So we're going to get the sour flavor by using an ingredient called tamarind, and this is available in any Asian store or in some of the ethnic section of the big superstore. So we're going to put a little tamarind in there, and we're going to put a little water or stock in there. We could put a little bit of ginger in there, and of course we can put a little garlic in there. Now, if you find this process is too tedious, you know, you can always buy a Pad Thai sauce. The problem with the Pad Thai sauce is it costs about $3 a bottle, and this costs about 35 cents to make it this way. So if you can make it by scratch, you're far better off. And I've chopped up some cilantro, so I've taken the cilantro, I've taken just the stems of the cilantro, and I'm going to mix that in. Now, I know I keep on talking about all you vegetarians out there, Well, I'm thinking about you, all you vegetarians, because this Pad Thai could be made with chicken, it can be made with pork, it can be made with shrimp. Usually you saute all that off. Usually what happens, I've made this delicious sauce here, and we saute all those ingredients together. But today, as an homage to my vegetarian friends out there, we're going to make this a vegetarian Pad Thai. We also have another ingredient here. We've got some rice noodles. These rice noodles are cheap like borscht. You can find them at any supermarket. For the Pad Thai, I'm using the wide rice noodles to give a little more flavor. Very simple to use. All I did is I took these white rice noodles, I boiled some water, I put them in the boiling water, left it in there for about 6 minutes, rinse them, bring them out, and they're all ready to go. So that'll be the heart of the recipe, rice noodles. So the pan is nice and hot. We're going to put in some carrots. Of course, I've julienned these carrots, cut them into very small pieces. Let's put in a little pepper. You know, if you wanted to use the luxury of putting snow peas in there, a little bok choy, whatever you want, that's fine with me. So simple to make this dish. I'll saute that up a little bit, see if I can flip it. So it's sauteed up there. Of course, you could put a little bit of the soy sauce in there, but I've already got soy sauce in the ingredient. So we're just going to saute that up nicely. Let it saute. Smell those aromas. The other ingredient I'm going to put in there, nice colorful ingredients, and put a few chili flakes in there, dried chili flakes, just to give it a little additional kick. And I've got some green onions, which I've cut those green onions on the bias. One of them tried to escape. Runaway onion. Put those in there like that. Again, saute those all up. Get all the flavors going. So you've got lots of flavors there. You're going to have the particular bite of the green onions. The carrot's going to give it a little crunch in the munch. The pepper's going to give it a little sweetness. And at this time, what we're going to do since we're not adding meat. Now, if I had meat in there, which would be the shrimp, the chicken, or the pork, that's the first thing I would put it in this sauce, marinated, then now I'm going to add the sauce to it. Sauce has got all that cilantro, garlic, peppers. Look at that, coming up very nice. So we'll just let that simmer and we'll be right back. Okay, we can smell those beautiful Asian flavors all coming out now that are all cooking down there. I'm going to add a little more, I took the chopped, the stems of the cilantro, and I'm going to cook those out. And I'm also going to put a little more of the chopped cilantro in there. And at this time, we're going to add our rice noodles there. Just get them all in there. Rice noodles should be a little on the sticky side when you're using them. And those tongs are here. So we're just going to mix those all up. Get all of that beautiful flavors in with the rice noodles. There's a specific way you do this. Usually use 2 utensils. Toss it all around. Very quick meal to make. Takes a little bit of prep. If you're having some friends over, if you're going to university, you're on a budget, you only have one burner in your dorm room, you're tired of eating Ichiban noodles and KD, why not try something a little more original? Now this dish, if you did go down to a Vietnamese restaurant or a Thai restaurant, it probably cost you $10 or $12. Here you're getting it for maybe about $3 would cost this whole dish. Look at that. Look at all the colors in that. That's what I love about this dish. The colors and the flavors, absolutely excellent. Just heat it up. Usually we make this in a wok over fairly high heat, so it really starts to sizzle. Those noodles should be a little on the sticky side. So let's dish it up. Pad Thai. Yeah. Boy, that smells good. The cameraman here saying, I want that recipe. I'm cooking that for supper tonight. Because my cameramen love cooking, and they love filming cooking shows. So look at that. We just got it about portioned just about right. Looks good. Smells good. Want to get it all out onto the pan. Now, does that not look good, I ask you? Quick, simple, a little on the exotic side. What we want to do is we want to garnish that. Again, we're going to put a little more of our chopped cilantro. This cilantro is not cooked, so it's going to add a little more flavor dimension. And right on the top of this, we want to cover this whole dish, optional of course, are some chopped peanuts. And a little bit of garnish on the side. And of course, what you'd like to do if you wanted to add a little extra acidity, like any Vietnamese or Asian dishes, we're going to serve that with a few lime wedges on the side. And there you go, all you vegetarians. That's a beautiful meal, good enough for 2. Bring your friend over, cook up a beautiful dish, Pad Thai. That's completely vegetarian. You want to add shrimp, add shrimp. You want to add chicken, add pork, add tofu, whatever you want. You can also take a little bit of egg and put that in there, also just like chow mein. So enjoy that. All right, we're going to make everybody's favorite Chinese dish, and that's called sweet and sour pork. Now, this is a good recipe to make because pork is probably about the cheapest meat you can buy. Now, you see the center cut pork chops. All I've done is taken some boneless pork chops or whatever, cut them into cubes, fairly small cubes. I marinated them. I've got a little sesame oil, soy sauce, green onions, chili flakes in there. So we're going to brown that all up. Nice. Cook it fairly quick. Now there's a bit of mise en place to this dish. We can add a little more flavoring ingredients to it. We can add a little garlic and ginger. Of course, garlic and ginger make the dish. We've got some celery that's cut on the bias, so what the heck, we might as well throw it all in there. We'll stir fry that up. If you've got a wok, it really works well for this dish. If not, you can make it on a fry pan. Now I'm doing this one pot. Lots of people would saute the vegetables and the meat separate, but for a little action, I've got some nice peppers, which I cut into kind of wedges there. If you don't have the peppers, we just put in some, lots of color. Onions that I've cut chunky and hunky. These onions are cut into kind of wedges so that when they actually start to cook, when they start to separate, they won't overcook. So just put that in there. Doesn't that look good already? And of course, I've got some very thinly sliced carrot. Look at this dish. Already, I could eat it just by itself. And because I've had a few, we don't have any snow peas, but we get some garden peas here. Might as well use those. Put those all in there. They smell good already, I tell you. Okay, so now we're going to make a little sauce. So I'm going to start with a little bit of stock there. You know, Chinese food, sweet, sour, spicy, salty. You got a little apple cider vinegar. Most people are used to soy sauce that is kind of red by nature. So that's usually you put annatto, or even some people put food coloring. I don't like to do that. So we've got all our ingredients in there. As you can see, it's a fairly rich, vibrant color. I'm going to put in our sugar there. 2/3 of a cup of sugar. It's quite a bit of sugar. Bring that up to a boil. Last thing we want to do is we add, now we've got our choice. We can add, I've got a small can of pineapple tidbits. I can add them to the sauce. I think I might add some of the juice to the sauce, but I can generally throw those pineapples straight in with the with our meat mixture. Usually, again, I said this could be made with a wok, which cooks a lot quicker than the frying pan. And look at that. Isn't that nice and colorful? And you know, the vegetables are going to be nice and crisp here. You see how the onions are starting to separate and they're getting slightly translucent, so that's a good sign. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to thicken up this sauce. I put a little slurry, a couple of tablespoons of cornstarch. Like that. As soon as that comes back up to a boil, it'll be ready to go. So I'll just give it a minute. So we're back, and as you can see, the sauce Sauce made with about 3 parts of sugar, 1 part of vinegar. We put some flavorings in there, some ketchup, cider vinegar. Look at it. Beautiful, rich, brown sauce. We're going to pour that all the way over our sweet and sour pork. Look at that. All coming up. Nice color. Beautiful dish. I know some people may be concerned that, you know, maybe there's too many calories in there, too much sugar in there. Sometimes you have to live dangerously. And I say that's a beautiful looking dish. I say it's a healthy looking dish too, because it has all those vegetables. You can serve that with a little fried rice, a little bit of steamed rice, whatever you would like. But let's dish it up. Looks good. Look at that. All those beautiful. I know the peppers may be a little bit expensive. Sometimes you can get a good buy on peppers if you go to some of the discount grocers. Maybe you have to put 1 pepper in there, but I can agree. I'm sure you'll agree with me. It's well worth it. Look at that beautiful dish. Kung Hoi Fat Choi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think we'll put in 1 more little scoop of goodness in there. And the last thing we're going to do is put the traditional garnish onto Asian food. And that's some nice toasted sesame. Enjoy. Please remember that all the recipes are posted on the Edmonton Food Bank website. You can check them out at edmontonsfoodbank.com.